All right, so I'm going to show you how to set up a budget using Google Sheets. So what you're going to do, head here, click Sheets, go to the bottom right hand corner. There we go. Okay, and I would label this sample budget, but put in whatever you need to put in to know that this is your budget. All right, so first thing, you're going to put in income. So if you just have one job, you're just going to have one income cell here. However, if you have multiple streams of income, so for example, if you have a restaurant job, you're going to have, let's say you work at Sherry's, okay? And then you also work part-time at, let's go, Starbucks, okay? So it's important that you don't just lump everything in together, because you want your budget to be as detailed as possible so you know how much money's coming in, how much money's going out. View yourself as a business, a one-person business, okay? Businesses do that. You should do it too. All right, what I would recommend doing is highlighting your income with some shade of green, because green is good when we're talking about money, and it's also a good organizational tool. Okay, and then your expenses. So early on in college, we'll just go over some basic expenses that you can expect to have, and everybody's situation is slightly different, but I'm showing you the basics here and just kind of how to navigate sheets so you can tweak this and personalize it however you need to. So you're going to have rent, you're going to have food, you're going to have gas. Okay, now with regards to utilities, that's going to vary on whether or not you live in an apartment, if you live in a house with people. So typically, if you live in a house, you're going to be paying multiple bills. So you're going to be paying pretty much anything the homeowner would pay, you're going to pay. Typically, in an apartment, you're going to pay fewer bills. So you can expect to pay, let's say, cable, internet, heat, electricity. So we'll keep it at that. Maybe you live in an apartment, so you just have a couple of those. If you lived in a house, you'd pay those. You'd pay water, and that is variable. So during summers, for example, you might use more, and you might use less electricity in the summer. So those two could kind of offset. And then in the winter, you'd use more electricity and you might use less water. So it's important to track all of those things so you kind of know what's coming. All right, you would also probably have a phone payment. You would have car insurance probably. Maybe a car payment, maybe not. You can add it in if that does apply to you. And also leisure. So don't forget to have fun, okay? It is college. Don't forget to have fun. All right, so let's just plug in some numbers here. And don't want to forget that, okay? Please save for retirement, emergency fund. Okay. So Sherry's, let's say you make $1,000 a month. Starbucks, say you make $750 a month. Okay. Let's say rent you pay $500. So anything that is an expense, you're going to put in parentheses. Okay, and then that's going to show up with a minus sign, and that's going to come in handy in a minute. Okay, so food, let's say 200 a month. If I'm way off base on some of these, doesn't matter. You know the process at least. So let's say gas is 100 a month. Cable internet, maybe 75 a month. Again, if you live with roommates, which I highly recommend because that cuts your number one expense, that's living expenses, into half, maybe into a third. So it's expensive to live by yourself, and I would highly recommend for financial purposes to live with at least one other person. Okay, electricity, let's say your share is 50 a month. Phone, let's say 50 a month. Car insurance, let's say 75 a month. Leisure, let's say 200 a month. Retirement, so if you put that in like a Roth IRA, for example, again, it's not at your age necessarily about the dollar amount, it's about the habit. So get into good habits, even if it's just 100 a month, that is going to pay off big time decades down the road. An emergency, so this is just having cash on hand in a separate account for emergency. It's not for, hey, want to go out to dinner. Nope, this is for, if your car breaks down, you don't want to have to put that on a credit card. You want, I would say, at least 3 months worth of living expenses. So just basic living expenses handy. That might sound like a lot, but it's worth it and you can add it up over time. So let's just say that's 100 a month. Okay. So with your expenses, I would highlight those in red. Again, just an organizational tool. So down here, I would label this last cell whatever your goal is. So if you want to buy a car, okay, have your goal apparent, because having your goal, or your why, in other words, will help keep you focused. Budgeting, I find it fun, but a lot of people don't. They find it to be work. But if you can have that why out there and visible all the time, that's going to help keep you motivated, keep you focused, so you actually know that there is a goal in mind. Okay, so what you do here is you're going to highlight from the top all the way down to that last cell with a number in it. So make sure that's highlighted. Then you're going to go over here, click that button, click the sum, click outside this cell, and then that is going to give you the number that you have left over. So whether it's a new car or whatever else you're planning for, that is going to give you that number. Okay. Now, the nice thing about Google Sheets is that it is kind of alive. So it's a living, breathing document, and as your financial life grows, it too can grow easily. So hopefully you're adding more to the income rows here. Life does typically get more expensive as you grow up and add on responsibilities. So what you would do, if you want to add something, you're going to highlight wherever, then you're going to right click, you're going to go insert row, and that's going to move everything down. So say that, oh, you got a pet and you want to insure your pet. So you have pet insurance. Go over here, say it's $20 a month. Okay, got that in. And what that does is that automatically updates your remainder down there. Okay, so whenever you have new expenses come into your life, add them in. Okay, whenever you have new streams of income, add them in. So I would always try to be thinking about how can I add another stream of income to my budget. Okay, it's risky just to have one because what if that goes away? Typically your expenses don't go away. So the red shaded expenses, they're gonna grow, okay? But that doesn't mean that your green income can't grow too. Okay, so if you want help on a one-to-one basis with setting up a budget, and if you want to work on personalizing it to your situation, I would love to help. And we can do this exact same thing with your needs and get you started off on the right foot. So let me know. Again, that should give you the basics for how to use Google Sheets to help set up your budget. Thank you.